This is a continuation of section 5.3. Now let's get our definition for independence. Two events are independent if the occurrence of one event does not affect the probability of the occurrence of the other. So in our previous example, we talked about performing a procedure with replacement and without replacement. So which of those would you consider, or would you say, are independent, where the probability of the second was not affected by the fact that the first event had occurred? Well, that was with replacement, right? So independence, events that are independent, this is the with replacement procedure. If you don't put the ball back, then you are affecting the probability of the second event. Okay, so let's look at some events and see if we can determine if they are independent. Does the fact that the first one happened affect the probability of the second one? Okay, so part A, we have an event E, speeding on the interstate. Okay, so if that occurs, will that affect your probability of being pulled over by a police officer? Yes, I think it would. So we will say for A, these are not independent because the occurrence of the first does affect the probability of the occurrence of the second. Let's look at B. The battery in your cell phone is dead, so if that happens, does that have any effect on the probability that the battery in your calculator is dead? No, those should not be related, so if it does not affect, then they are independent. The fact that your cell phone battery is dead has no effect on the probability of your battery calculator dying. Your washing machine will not turn on. Would that have, if that happens, does that have any effect on the probability that your dryer will not turn on? Well, now, at first look, it may seem like, of course, just like these two, they're unrelated. However, your washing machine and your dryer don't run on batteries. Batteries are independent. But if your washing machine doesn't turn on, it's very possible your power is out, or at least a fuse could be out that goes to both of these. So we can't necessarily say these are independent, because if your washing machine won't turn on, there is a possibility that that increases the probability that your dryer also will not work, because they're using the same electrical source. So we will say these are not independent. If you want to make a little note about electricity and the power that is supplied to both of these, which is not independent power like we see with batteries. Okay, part E, you flip a coin and get heads. Event F, you flip the same coin again and get tails. So if you get heads on your first flip, does that affect the probability that you'll get tails on your second flip? No. So if it does not affect the probability, you have independence. These are independent events.